everybody, so I'm going to talk about my delivery experience today in this video. In the 9th month of my pregnancy, I kept waiting and waiting for the labor pains or at least some sign that my delivery would happen soon, but there was no sign whatsoever. 2 days before my due date, I went to the gynecologist. He suggested that he'd do a membrane sweep on me, which he did. And he told me that maybe by 24 hours I may start feeling labor pains and I may go into labor, in which case I'd have to be admitted to the hospital. In case I did not, then I can voluntarily come to the hospital directly the day after that, a day after my due date. So I waited for 24 hours and there was still no signs of anything happening for the 24 hours. And I called up my doctor and he told me to get admitted on the day after my due date. The day of my delivery arrives and it is pouring rain outside. My husband takes me to the hospital and I get admitted. I go there. I feel very nervous, obviously, because it's the first time for me and I don't know what to expect. But I pretended to be calm. I forced myself to be calm and I arrived at the hospital. The nurses shifted me to a ward. They were expecting me as my doctor had already told them that I'd be arriving. They got me ready for the doctor to come. The doctor arrived. It was 8 o'clock. So the doctor came at 8:30 and he did another membrane sweep. And he had an NST attached to me to check for any signs of labor happening. We waited there for 2 hours. But there was still no sign of anything happening. So he sent me to a room which my husband had booked, and I went to the room and we were again waiting for some sign. Then at 11 a.m. my waters broke. I felt a gush of water flowing and my husband called the nurses. The nurses rushed to my room and they took me to the labor ward. In almost 10 to 15, almost half an hour, in another half an hour, I started feeling the labor pains. It was a pain I cannot explain. It was something that I have never experienced in my entire life. You can say terrible menstrual pains, worse than that. So luckily I had already discussed my pain relief options with my doctor long before this. And he had given me 3 options. One was pethidine, the second one was laughing gas, and the third one was epidural. So initially I had thought maybe I'll take pethidine. But at the time, I realized that epidural is the best option for me. By around 2:30, the doctor injected me with epidural. And once the epidural was given, the pains subsided. I stopped feeling the pains and it was a lot better. But there was only one problem. I couldn't even understand if I was supposed to push or not. So since they had attached the machine to me, the doctors would tell me when I need to push. Around 4, the doctors told me to start pushing because they started seeing the contractions happening and that I had to push. I couldn't feel the labor. I couldn't feel the contractions because of the epidural. So the nurses and the doctor, they told me to push and I had to push myself. I pushed and pushed and pushed and Rani arrived. The doctor announced that it's a girl. And yeah, since in India, it's illegal to know the sex of the baby before the day of birth. So it was a surprise and not that we had expected for anything. We were totally fine with having either a girl or a boy and we would love them immensely no matter what the sex of the baby is. So Rani arrived. Her head came out first and then the doctor had to do an episiotomy on me and he also had to use the vacuum along with forceps. And finally my baby arrived at around 5:30. My entire life changed after that. Do I need to say that? So that was my delivery experience. If you want to share your delivery experience, I would really love to know your delivery experience. Do share it on the comments below and subscribe to my channel if you are new here. I post videos every week. Do like my video if you liked my story. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.